Agni Homa is often introduced as a ritual, but that word is both accurate and misleading. Accurate because yes, it follows a precise sequence. Misleading because it suggests something mechanical, repetitive, or blindly traditional. In reality, Agni Homa sits at a fascinating crossroads where ancient symbolic intelligence meets the modern human psyche. To understand its relevance today, we must stop looking at it as a religious performance and start seeing it as a structured psychological act that uses fire as a medium for inner regulation, meaning-making, and transformation. The context matters. Human beings have always gathered around fire. Long before temples, before scriptures, before theories of mind, fire was the first shared focus of attention. It provided warmth, safety, light, and food, but it also did something subtler. It organized the group. It slowed chaos. It created rhythm. Even today, when someone lights a candle during grief, meditation, or prayer, the nervous system responds before the intellect does. Agni Homa emerges from this deep evolutionary memory. In Vedic culture, fire was not just an element, it was the living bridge between inner intention and outer expression. Every offering into the fire symbolized a movement from the personal to the universal. This naturally raises the question, why does an external act like offering grains, ghee, or herbs into a fire have any effect on the mind? In an age of neuroscience, therapy, and self-help frameworks, does a fire ritual still do anything meaningful, or is it just inherited symbolism dressed up as spirituality? Sharply, can a ritual designed thousands of years ago speak to modern anxiety, fragmentation, and meaninglessness, or are we projecting relevance where none exists? To explore this, we have to look at the assumptions we carry. Modern thinking often assumes that psychological change happens primarily through insight, language, and analysis. If you understand your patterns, name your trauma, and challenge your beliefs, change should follow. Ancient systems operated on a different assumption. They assumed that the mind is not persuaded by logic alone. It is shaped by rhythm, repetition, sensory focus, and symbolic action. Agni Homa is built on the assumption that intention becomes real only when it is enacted through the body, senses, and environment. Thought alone is incomplete, action alone is blind. Ritual is the bridge. Now consider the structure of Agni Homa. A fire is prepared carefully, the space is cleaned, materials are arranged, mantras are recited, offerings are made in a sequence. This structure is not accidental. Psychologically, it mirrors what we now call containment. The mind relaxes when it knows what comes next. Predictable structure lowers cognitive load and reduces anxiety. The repeated sound of mantras creates auditory rhythm, similar to what we observe in chanting, humming, or even certain forms of breath work. The visual focus on fire induces a mild trance-like state, not dissociation, but absorption. Modern psychology calls this a state of focused attention with reduced self-referential chatter. The fire itself plays a crucial role. Fire is dynamic, unpredictable, yet bounded. You cannot fully control it, but you can tend to it. This is a powerful metaphor that the nervous system understands intuitively. Much like emotions, fire grows when fed, dies when ignored, and becomes dangerous when suppressed or indulged without awareness. Watching fire while consciously offering something into it externalizes an internal process. Anger, desire, fear, guilt, longing, all can be symbolically placed into the fire. The psyche experiences this as release, not because the problem is magically solved, but because the burden is no longer held only inside. Functionally, Agni Homa operates on multiple psychological levels at once. On the attentional level, it anchors the wandering mind. On the emotional level, it provides a safe channel for expression and release. On the cognitive level, it reinforces meaning through symbolism. On the social level, when performed collectively, it creates shared intention and emotional synchrony. Modern research on group rituals shows that synchronized actions increase trust, cohesion, and a sense of belonging. Ancient practitioners did not need fMRI scans to know this, they observed it directly. There is also the aspect of sacrifice, which is often misunderstood. Sacrifice in the psychological sense does not mean loss, it means prioritization. When you offer something into the fire, you are practicing the act of letting go consciously. In therapy, this shows up as acceptance. In mindfulness, it appears as non-attachment. Agni Homa trains this capacity somatically. You physically release something valuable into the fire. The nervous system learns that letting go does not equal annihilation, it equals transformation. Another subtle function lies in the way Agni Homa engages the senses. Modern life overstimulates the mind but undernourishes the senses in a coherent way. Screens fragment attention, notifications break rhythm. Agni Homa does the opposite. It unifies sensory input. Sight, sound, smell, and movement align towards a single focus. This sensory coherence is deeply regulating. It brings the mind into the present moment without effortful control. In contemporary terms, it is a form of embodied mindfulness. However, it is important to acknowledge the limits. Agni Homa is not a cure-all. It will not replace therapy for severe trauma, medication for clinical conditions, or practical action where change is needed. When rituals are performed mechanically, without understanding or presence, they lose their psychological potency. Worse, they can become a form of spiritual bypassing where one avoids facing real issues by hiding behind symbolic acts. Fire cannot burn what we refuse to acknowledge. Ritual without reflection becomes superstition. Reflection without action becomes rumination. Both are incomplete. There is also the cultural limit. When removed entirely from its context and reduced to a trend or aesthetic, Agni Homa risks becoming hollow. Lighting a fire is not enough. The inner posture matters, intention matters, awareness matters. The ritual works not because of blind belief, but because of conscious participation. Ancient systems assumed responsibility on the part of the practitioner. That assumption still stands. So where does integration happen? Integration happens when we stop asking whether Agni Homa is religious or psychological and accept that it is both. The ancient mind did not divide inner and outer, sacred and practical, the way we do. Fire rituals were technologies of consciousness, not belief systems. In modern terms, Agni Homa can be understood as a structured practice that helps regulate emotion, focus attention, embody intention, and process symbolic meaning. It complements modern psychology rather than competing with it. A therapist might ask a client to externalize their emotions, to write a letter they never send, to imagine releasing a burden. Agni Homa does the same thing but through the body and senses. A neuroscientist might talk about neural entrainment, parasympathetic activation, and attentional narrowing. The ritual achieves these effects experientially. Different languages, same underlying human system. When practiced with awareness, Agni Homa becomes less about pleasing a deity and more about aligning the inner world. Fire becomes a mirror. What you bring to it matters more than what you ask from it. In that sense, Agni Homa is not about control over life, but about participation in it. You show up, you offer, you witness transformation, and you accept what remains. To conclude, Agni Homa is not an outdated ritual waiting to be defended, nor a mystical shortcut waiting to be marketed. It is a psychologically intelligent practice encoded in symbolic form. When approached with understanding, it speaks directly to modern challenges of anxiety, fragmentation, and loss of meaning. Fire reminds us that change requires heat, attention, and the courage to let go. If this reflection stirred something in you, or if you have a different perspective, I would genuinely like to hear it. Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you found this meaningful, like the video, share it with someone who might need it, and subscribe to the channel for more explorations where ancient wisdom meets the modern mind.